The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. In the wine country of Napa Valley in California lies one of North America's most famous road courses. The undulations, the elevation change, the natural flow makes Sonoma Raceway one of the best places in the country to watch a race. It's been a staple on the NASCAR calendar since 1989, and IndyCar used it as its finale for many, many years. Tonight we find ourselves at the Sonoma Raceway for the SCAR Radical Series. Welcome everybody to PTR TV, where tonight we present race number 7 of their 2022 campaign in the Radical Series, and excited to give you the calls here this evening. It's going to be myself, Corey Silva, as usual, running the one-man show here tonight, both in the production truck and in the commentary booth, giving you the calls for what'll be 50 minutes worth of action on the evening. These guys, as usual, are under qualifying right now and doing the best they can to get their starting positions and try to get their starting spots where they want them to be. Right now, we'll take a look at where things stand primitively and see where things go from here on our ticker. We'll pull up the side ticker on the screen for you right now, and you'll find that our preliminary pole sitter right now is David Tamira in that 14 machine. He's actually running now, as of course as soon as we get him on screen, he has a spin out. But he's actually on 3 consecutive second place finishes over the last little portion of time, and he was looking forward to here at Sonoma due to it being a home track for him. So clearly the speed definitely in that number 14 machine this evening. Vincent Short here on the racetrack, currently 5th on the scoring pylon and coming into the famous hairpin here at Sonoma. Of course, you quickly saw the layout here. We're going to be running the Sonoma Cup layout, which, as we all know, NASCAR changes their minds on which version of this track they want to run quite frequently, but we're running the one that has the chute. We'll see if our cam right here, you can see on the top end of your display, the chute that connects turn 4 and what is usually considered to be turn 7. We have a chute, I think they call it 4A and 4A here in this configuration. We do omit the carousel design, so that will be a familiarity for many of these drivers, and hopefully helping them out with turning some consistent lap times. Our win penalties this week: Andrew Locke, our winner at Road America. I don't see him here today, so his win penalty, as well as James Vance, those penalties are essentially useless because they're not here. But Steve Singer will have an EOL due to his win at Watkins Glen. And of course, Zach Millett, not able to qualify, will get a EOL and a stop and go at the end of lap 1. So I think last week he managed to get himself in and amongst the top 5, so we'll see if he's going to be able to do that this evening at Sonoma. I predict that there's going to be a little bit more of a ease in doing that, because typically these tracks that have a lot more skill required, not to say that Road America doesn't require skill, but a lot more skill here, because you don't have the nature of the draft. You don't have that constant slipstream where if you can get off of 1 or 2 corners pretty well, no matter what you do, you're going to have that that draft to suck you back up to the guy in front of you. You have to do it all yourself here at Sonoma. You're going to be very busy over the course of the entire lap. But to quickly go over our point standings, while we have a minute, the cooldown session is in play right now, but there is nobody on track turning another lap, so therefore not much of a use in that. Zach Millett is still the points leader by 32 over Steve Singer, with Tamira 38 back, and then we have Vincent Short and Jason Nethery, the top 5. That will pretty much be the only guys, as well as Mark Truxell in 6th, that will be in any kind of championship or podium discussion on the top of the championship standings, due to the fact that they've run all the races and there are a lot of part-timers and some new guys that are coming into the series over the last few races, which is good to see. But we'll have an off week next week, and then on July 31st we will be here for Gateway, on the Gateway Roval. Again, that's a very unique road course, one that we don't see too often utilized, so that'll be fun to see. But we got some work to do here this evening, so thanks everyone for tuning into PTR TV. If you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Would appreciate if you do that, and we'll get ourselves down trackside in just a moment. On the Gateway Roval, again, that's a very unique road course, one that we don't see too often utilized, so that'll be fun to see. But we got some work to do here. Apparently there's an echo going on right now, and I am trying to find out where it is coming from. Bear with me one moment on that, folks. Ourselves down trackside in just a moment. Apparently there's an echo going on right now, and I am trying to find out. Starting lineup is about to go underway right here. We have closed every single window here, and hopefully that does alleviate the echo. There's no reason why it should have been, but at least we caught it in the introduction. Sorry about that, folks, but either way, let's get down trackside and give you the starting lineup here today for the SCAR Radical Series. On the pole here today with that lap time of 1 minute 7.638, David Tamira and Brad Allison on the outside of the front row, just about 0.4 of a second behind. In that 3rd spot, we're going to find Vincent Short with Brian Rose in 4th, Jason Nethery in 5th, Neil Quick going to be in that 6th position, and then in 7th we're going to have Cook Quick. I believe there is a relation there, and then Dakota Anderson in 8th, Mark Truxell and Eddie Rose rounding out the top 10, and then rounding out our field, Zach Millett, Steve Singer, Jordan Berry, first-timer Lee Carson Conway, and Britt Osborne. Of course, Millett and Singer will have the EOL there, so not quite sure they will go off in that exact position. But the pacing is now underway here right now, so we'll go one quick pace lap around Sonoma Raceway, and see the leaders here are coming down. This is the chute configuration that we were talking about. That is what where they're coming right now. And this also becomes a very good passing zone because it creates essentially 2 braking zones that didn't really exist on the other configuration of this place. So they will be able to go down and create those 2 passing zones, and then ultimately coming through these S's. You're not going to see too many passes coming through the S's. But then you have to get that really good run through this section of the racetrack because that is what leads you down and gives you that run into the famous hairpin. where essentially you are going to test your braking skills and test how comfortable you are. Do you have enough of a run to make that dive? Can you sustain it? Of course, you have those tire barriers to the inside to hold you honest. But here we come at Sonoma. Our pole sitter is going to be on the left side of the screen because he's going to have the run up the hill, and hopefully for his sake he can clear before turn 2. But here we are, SCAR Radical Series on a Sunday night, PTR TV ready for some green flag action. And there it is, here we are racing at Sonoma. Coming up the hill here, and Tamira did not get a good jump there, so our pole sitter is actually going to go back to the 3rd spot as we're going to head down here and head to the top of the hill, the highest elevation point at Sonoma. And now that this is where people get loose. And who was that into the barrier? That was Vincent Short, who put himself into the barrier there. We'll check out if it was indeed his fault, or if indeed there was perhaps some instigation there of any kind. And yeah, he just got loose, which is something that's going to happen quite frequently, because that is the part of the track where the car gets the lightest. You go up the blind hill there, and then it just drops off, and you kind of just have to feel where the car is going to be. And something also happened to David Tamira there, our pole sitter, the guy we were looking forward to having a good run because this is his home track. We'll go back and see what happened to him. He's diving in here trying to make a pass, and it looks like on throttle it just went around on him. So not a good start for him. And again, there's no caution. We do have cautions in some of the races here in the SCAR Radical Series, the ones that do have the rollbook configurations, we do have a comp caution. But here on the traditional road courses, of course, what we are at right now, that is not the case. We do not have the luxury of that caution. So Tamira, he is now 9 seconds back, which is not a lot. Oh, is that Short again? Getting loose there. What happened this time around? We're gonna work out that instant replay. Yep, he got on that left side curb and just got a little bit sideways, which in a NASCAR stock car, you can get away with running that curb. But here in a Radical, which is absolutely low to the ground, not quite the same privilege do you have. Quick trying to battle there with the 234 machine of Jason Nethery. Couldn't get the run to the inside there, exiting our hairpin. And of course, for you Zach Millett fans, to see if what he can do with his win penalty with his 3 wins on the season. He is 24 seconds back, so we'll see how his pace equals out. And how he is able to make that up. And oh no, Brian Rose around. We kind of caught that one live. Again, just going down the hill there. We'll take a look at instant replay. We'll go on board this time. See, on instant replay, he's going at the top of the hill. This is where everyone's having that trouble. He didn't hit the curb at all. It's just when he got on the power there, just heading on as the track dove down, he just flat spun it out. Back to live action here. Through all these shenanigans, Brad Allison is now our race leader, and has been since essentially the first lap of the race. He got himself about a second or so lead on Nethery, with Neil Quick running in 3rd now. And essentially, I think every single time these guys go through turn 2, they have to be taking a deep breath and just saying, please, not me, let me get through this corner successfully. So you don't really want to hop the curbs here at Sonoma, at least in these vehicles. You can see here, we're going to watch them as they come through that big curb that Nethery just hit there. And here comes another curb to the inside, and that's Neil Quick getting the super wide entry to the corner here. All that is legal. There's very few off-track areas here that are worth taking. Of course, you can go off-track if you'd like, but there's not going to be too much in the way of benefit in doing so. But here comes Nethery through the downhill section, coming into the final corner here. I think he's going to have a modest run on Allison, and he's going to send it on in there, and he's going to think better of it, but Allison's going to give him the room anyways. He gave him that inside lane through the hairpin, and Nethery is going to try to take advantage of through the outside there. If you can hold the outside through the start-finish kink, a lot of times you can hold that up the hill and get the advantage into two. Not quite the case, so Allison will hang on to the top spot for now. Looking at 44 laps of action is what we're looking at. Of course, it is a timed race, but our estimates are showing that we are on pace for about 44 laps, probably 43, with the fact that we do have pit stops at some point, usually around 60%. You can see there, just you can almost hear it, that Nethery really slid the car there. Just shows how hard he's pushing it, and through those S's there. You need to push it because that's where you can gain time, but it's also very risky to do so. Got a decent run there, and here he's gonna, I think he's gonna have a very easy time getting by him there. He's gonna dive on in, and Allison is not gonna contest it too heavily, and Neil Quick in that Skull Bandit ride, kind of akin to retro NASCAR schemes. He's gonna take that second position, and Allison's going to go first to third in one corner. Steve Singer, remember, he only had the EOL penalty this evening. So he's going to be in that fourth spot now. Started approximately 12th, 13th, and with all the early spins we had, here he is back only 6 seconds back, but, well, probably 2 seconds back. But one thing we do need to note here is David Tamira, as Singer moves into third. Tamira with that spin, he was about 8 seconds back at the moment of spin. He finds himself now just under 7 seconds back. Now that sounds like a lot of time, but for someone who has the pace that he seems to have here at Sonoma this week, as Truxell just says, go ahead, man, I'm not going to fight you on it. The fact that he has gained a second in only really 2 or 3 laps is mighty impressive, so it'll be very, very interesting to see if he's going to be able to pull off this comeback. Again, he did state in his interview at the last week's race at, I believe it was Road America, if memory serves. He said he was looking forward to Sonoma. It's the kind of a home track race for him, as close as it can be anyways. So he was really looking forward. You can see a California native here on the graphic, so definitely a home state race. Not sure where in California he does reside, but wants to have that good run. Last time by, he did not have the bestest of laps, but there was a pass being made during that. So, and through this conversation, Steve Singer has moved into the second position. So, in the EOL, not really causing too much issues for him. Zach Miller up to 10th spot, 18 seconds back. So of all the penalties he has been given this season, I think this is probably the least harmful of the bunch. Usually he's been about 30 seconds back, and now he's only about 18. Mind you, you never want to say never, but the odds of him winning this race are similar to me probably winning the Powerball tonight, but I think he'll have the best chance to recover from this than he's had since he got that last win, which I believe was quite a while ago. I want to say it was New Hampshire that he got that last win on the season. Just in front of him, the next car on the chopping block for him will be Jordan Berry, first timer in the league. He is in a race right now with Brian Rose. You can see that damage on the rear wing of Brian Rose, the number 89 machine. These guys head through the S's here. And see, if you're looking at the ticker, you can see that Nethery, the lead he does have over Singer, is starting to evaporate rather quickly. We'll pull up the lap times on the ticker right now on the left side of your display. You'll be able to see. And last time by, you see Nethery at a 107.8 and a 107.2, 0.6 of a second faster for Singer. That is a healthy margin. These times are getting faster and faster as the fuel burns off and as the tires are heating up at 2 prime temperatures, and we'll be able to turn the fastest laps possible. Of course, you can see on the left there, Eddie Rose did not turn a 14-second lap, but I think he's having some connectivity issues, which does kind of make the telemetry a little bit wonky there. I do want to apologize for the opening of the stream. I did get the note in our comments that there was a echoing. I did have a slight suspicion about what it could have been, but apparently I had a double browser open and I had to close one of the browsers. Never had that happen before, and apparently today was the day, so apologies for that, folks. But just waiting to see what is going to happen up front here. If indeed there's going to be a pass for the lead in the near future. As it looked like Singer was going to catch him within a lap or two at the rate he was going. Seems to have slightly stalled out right around 1 second, so he still definitely has the pace. But so far is doing a good job of hanging on to that position. Actually, last time by, Nethery was a little bit faster, so that would make things easier for Nethery to hang on to. But very easy to make mistakes here at Sonoma, so there's no guarantee that it wasn't just a one-lap mistake from Singer. Perhaps that happened, but maybe Nethery did get into his rhythm. We'll just have to keep track of that. Britt Osborne here in close proximity to Eddie Rose, probably the closest battle on track, and coming to the top of the hill. These guys are shotgun on the field, but every position does matter, so these guys are trying as hard as they can. Can say that Carson Conway did retire from the event already. Let's see here, we've got a lot of action up here with David Tamira. He's looking to make a move on Neil Quick. This is not usually a part of the track that you consider making passes on. There's some contact there with Quick. Tamira will get the spot down through the chute. Little connectivity issues there, but he'll retain the 3rd position. Now there's a 10-second bit of work, 10 seconds of work that he has to eliminate, and he has 37 minutes to do it. As we do have some lap traffic up front. Who was that just absolutely mutilated the fence there? That was Britt Osborne just in front of Singer there. He's trying to get out of the way, and then he's mutilated the fence there, exiting the hairpin. But all through that sequence, it doesn't look like Nethery got through the up the hill section. He didn't get through 2 through 4 very well, so Singer's going to get close in right to that back bumper and hop the curb there. That's the most dangerous curb there probably in North America, because you'll hit that curb, you'll go wide, the car really loosens up as you're trying to gather it over that big curb, and then that wall just begins there just out of nowhere, and you really have to rustle the car and try to keep it on the racetrack. Always a difficult challenge, but also kind of fun to do at the same time. Nethery trying to see what he can do here. We'll try to see if we can figure out who may be better at certain points of the racetrack. At least through that section. Looks like Singer was able to get on the accelerator a little bit better there and gain just about a 10th. Now we're going to go up the hill, gap falling down. That momentum coming from out of the hairpin carries all the way through up the hill, and it seems that Singer is just better on the braking zone, but really didn't get off he didn't get off of that corner at all that time. Didn't get off of 2 and lost 0.6 of a second, over a second, just getting off of 2 there. That was rather drastic. Didn't really see it in terms of any mistake, but maybe just missed a shift or something there, but lost a whale of amount of time there. That'll give Nethery some breathing, about 1¼ seconds. You can see just behind on the ticker that Tamira is still within that 9-second buffer. So if he plays his pit strategy absolutely perfect, he may be able to set something up and eliminate some of those seconds on pit strategy, but there's never a guarantee with that. So have to see indeed if something comes up. But Allison in 4th right now. Remember, he started up front on the outside of the front row. Tamira had that bad start. He inherited the lead and ultimately led a few laps, but then as some faster guys came to him, he just kind of fell back, and in 4th, 12 seconds back. But here we go, back up front, top of the hill. That's where Singer lost a whole bunch of time last time by, but able to recoup himself there and keep that modest gap. You can see how hard he's driving it there. He used every last bit of that curb exiting 2. Or exiting 3 rather. Now he comes through 4 and into the braking zone at the end of the chute. It's going to go a little bit too wide there through the chute. That's going to cost him a couple tenths heading down into the S's. Tamira starting to lose a little bit of time in 3rds. You can see just a simple mistake there, just not getting through the S's the way you would like to. And it literally cost him about a ½ second just because he slipped in the S's just the tiniest bit. As he mutilates a curb there, maybe, I mean rather a cone there out of perhaps frustration. But now all that time he gained, he's going to have to get it all right back. Zach Millett, by the way, does move into the 5th spot, closing in on Brad Allison. Just managed to get by Neil Quick in the 2 machine. So again, Millett eating up that penalty that he was given by just due to the rule structure in the series. So we'll see how high he can get up, whether he can make it to the podium. He does have, he is within 2 seconds of Tamira, but getting to these guys will be a different ballgame. Tamira definitely starting to drop off a little bit. Last time by Nethery with a 107.5, and 2 laps in a row that he's able to extend that gap rather drastically. Down to the hairpin, about a 1¼ second lead. What we'll do now, go on board here and bring up some of the telemetry so you can kind of see a live look at what it takes to get around the Sonoma Raceway. Up to 6th gear, 140 miles an hour there, hard on the binders there. We're going to go downshift once. I thought we were going to downshift twice, only once there, down to about 67, and here we come up the hill here. Quick downshift back to 3rd. This is that part where everyone was spinning out. He's going to get through successfully up to 4th. And then hard on the binders, he chooses to evade the curbs. Probably a smart move, the safest move you can make. Down the end of the chute, get ready here, cut it right down to the bottom. See, he's doing a great job of he's getting as close to the bottom as he can, but he's not hitting the curb. Or at least the difficult curbs. Some of the curbs here are steeper than others, and if you can kind of figure out which ones are which, you'll be on your way, and I think he's doing a great job of that. Didn't really make any mistakes this lap that I can see. Now we head down into the famous hairpin here. 2nd gear down to a low of 47 miles an hour. And we'll complete another lap, and we'll see. You can see on the bottom of the screen, it'll show us what the lap time was. His best lap, he just ran the lap before, had a 47 and then a 49. So consistently quick times for Nethery. And if we bring this up for Singer, you can see Singer ran a 107.2 was his best, but last time by was up 3/4 tenths of a second faster. And then we jump back to Millett in 4th. His best lap in the 106s with a last lap right at what the top guys were running. So he's 13 seconds back. I don't want to create some false drama here, but I said his odds of winning this race were similar to me winning the Powerball. Well, perhaps I have a better shot at winning the Powerball, because he does have a long shot. I mean, you know, he's down 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th with a man on 1st and 1 out. It's not the best odds, but you know, there is a potential setup if you play your cards right here. So I'm not putting money on it, but there is a chance, which is really all you can say. If he can run maybe 2-3 a lap faster, we have about 27 laps to go. You know, have a good pit sequence, take the exact right amount of fuel. It's a long shot, but there's a possibility if he is indeed that much faster. Last time by, only driver in the 106s. He actually ran his fastest lap last time by of a 106.8. That was a full second faster than anybody else. Can he get by Tamira? How hard is Tamira going to fight him? Now, Tamira is going to have every right to fight him as hard as he wants to. He's going to force him on the outside here. Maybe perhaps a crossover. Of course, you really don't want to make a pass through the S's. This is going to hurt Millet because if Tamira is holding him back through the S's, that's going to cost him valuable time. And if he wants any chance to win this race, cannot waste even a millisecond. So he passed Allison there. I didn't catch what happened to Brad Allison. Something happened to him because now he's one lap down. Remember, he was the one that was leading this race in its opening stages. Now he finds himself one lap down. Not missing anything up front. Singer's still hanging within a second. He's gaining a little bit, but we want to focus on this battle. As Tamira doing a fabulous job. Probably too fabulous for Millet standards, but here he's going to come. Millet's going to have the look, and Tamira's going to shut the door on him. Now another hard braking zone. These 2 laps are likely costing Millet any chance to win the race, in my opinion. Because the pace he's running is about a second and a half faster than either of these guys. But being stuck behind them, being stuck behind Tamira here, probably cost him 3 seconds that he could have gained otherwise. So he's going to really show his impatience here, and he's going to dive it in the hairpin, and Tamira is going to throw a little bit of a block. It's going to force him wide. Now they're going to be side by side here. And nope, Tamira is going to have just enough to hang on. A little tiny whiff of draft you can kind of get here, probably in these cars. But what's going to happen top of the hill and turn 2? Tamira is going to slip, and Millet's just doing everything he can at this point, putting the car in zones where it's not supposed to be, and he's going to try to set him up for a crossover, perhaps a little bit of contact there. And now here he comes. I think this is probably the best run he's had. He's probably going to have to send it, but a car length too far back, and now he's losing time. So this is, in my opinion, this is the race. Now, of course, this is for third. Tamira has absolutely no reason to let him go. This is a podium spot. This is a third position. This is a fantastic run. He has no reason to let him go. So that's why he's battling. This means a lot. He has 3 second-place finishes in a row. He's not going to roll over dead. He has no reason to. But for Millet, it's like, come on, man, I'm faster. I got a chance. You don't. Let me go. But just not so far. He definitely is going to drop back a few car lengths up front. Singer starting to... well, actually, Singer took the lead there as we were watching that battle. All right, did find it here on replay. Showing it on screen right now. He just gained a bunch of time through the hairpin and he just went right by. I'm not quite sure how or why that happened. And of course, while we're on replay, look, oh no, Millet sent it a little bit too hard in there. I'll take a look at that in slightly more detail. I'm going to go fire up the replay again now that some of our battles have been eliminated there. Millet got a huge run there top of the hill, and he forced his way down there, and he had the spot, went a little bit too wide, and that gave Tamira a chance to defend and come back with a crossover. And then Millet just knew he was on the outside at a corner you don't want to be on the outside in. And he just royally sent it, and it didn't stick. And it's very seldom ever going to stick. In that lane. So now our intensity has slightly fizzled. So what we'll do now is just go ahead and give you a little bit of a through the field segment and let you know where your driver's running and get some cars that we haven't talked about some airtime. We'll start at the top of the show, and that is Steve Singer, who just took the lead. He had the 12th place start with his EOL with the win penalty, and he's in place to get a worse win penalty next week or in 2 weeks' time because he is leading this thing down. Jason Nethery, after he lost that lead, he will suffice to a second place finish. Tamira in third with a hard-charging Zach Millett in fourth, who's going to be hard-charging even more than he was before. Neil Quick having a modest run there in fifth. Brian Rose, a steady run in the sixth spot. Jordan Berry, the first timer to the series, in seventh. Mark Truxell in the eighth spot. Vincent Short running in ninth, and then rounding out your top 10 is Dakota Anderson. Brad Allison, I'm just kind of, his date has kind of fell off a cliff there. He's going to fall back and run in 11th. Eddie Rose with some connection issues there in 12th. Cook Quick is being registered in 13th, has retired from the event. And Eddie Rose may be doing as such right now, not quite sure. Nope, he's just pulling over. And the only other car on track is Britt Osborne. He's registered in 14th now. Carson Conway is retired from today's event. Probably the closest battle on track right now is in and around Berry and Truxell for 7th and 8th. Looks like Truxell is starting to make some headway, and well, Berry is gonna not make him make much headway. Berry just got loose there. I think we kind of caught it live enough that we don't need the replay. But just a little slow spin there for Berry, and you know, Truxell will have that position pretty handedly now. So then that takes us back to the Millett and Tamira saga, where Tamira trying to hold on to that third, and Millett just doing what he can to get rid of it and get him by. And just look at the lap times here. This is what makes Millett probably absolutely infuriated, because and then he's just trying too hard right now, and he got himself loose and he caught it. But look at the lap time. This is last lap. Of course, this time is going to be a lot worse. But he was a 107 flat. He was 7/10 faster than anybody else on track. If he was able to sustain that pace the whole time, he would be right up there. But, you know, it's not the easiest track to pass on. Last week at Road America, you have all these straightaways, so you can use the draft to your advantage, and you can make passes, and if you're better in certain corners, eventually, you know, you'll start to break the draft. No such luck here at Sonoma. You have so many one-lane segments of the track that when you try to force the double file where it's not supposed to be, you have those spin-outs, you have those loose situations that Millett has experienced this evening. So he'll still probably be on the podium, but barring a massive mistake, I don't really see him getting to the front of the pack. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to cut to a brief side-by-side and just grab a drink and rest up for the remainder of the race. So it's going to be about 2 to 3 minutes, and we'll be right back.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Just caught it on side by side. A crash between Millet and Tamira there through the S's. Let's go back and catch it on full screen replay. See, we'll go from our chopper cam. We're in the turn 7 region, and as I talked about, this is not really where you set up a pass, but maybe a whisker of net code there. But I think the wreck was going to happen regardless. We'll go on board here with Millet and see exactly what he saw. Yeah, I mean that was going to happen. Well, even if there was a millisecond of net code there, that wreck was going to happen either way. Just not a place he traditionally passed. Now, Tamira didn't give him room, which, if you watch the prior battle, I mean, that's just kind of what the trend was. Tamira was fighting him for everything he was worth, and I think it just grew to that point where, you know, he was clean. He raced him as clean as he could, and he could not get by, so he just kind of said, well, I'm racing you clean, you're shutting the door on me, you know, I've cut you a couple breaks, I'm not cutting you a break anymore. We've all kind of come into that position and just running out of patience, and that's what it is. But now coming through some lap traffic here is Millet. He's 17 seconds back with 17 minutes to go, so a second a lap and a pit stop. I mean, that's going to be a Herculean feat to recover from. I don't know if he has it in him, but, you know, he is going to try down to the last lap. Trying to maneuver through some traffic here. Of course, that's Nethery in second. Nethery has 12 seconds of buffer before Millet is a concern to him, and Nethery has that near 6-second interval that he needs to work on to get himself up to the front of the field. Over the course of our season, again, race number 7 here on the channel, and still trying. The series is doing a great job of recovering. We kind of hit a low point around Watkins Glen and New Hampshire with car comp, but looking like we are having a little bit of a resurgence, which is great to see. So if anybody's watching live, not a part of the league or affiliated with it in any way, you can just reach out to our YouTube channel or reach out to Steve Singer with the Superior Class Auto Racing Series. You can find their Discord, or just let me know and I can put you into the right direction. Running the Radical SR8s, the free one, of course, the new SR10 just released on iRacing. That is a paid car. This is a car that's been on the service for over a decade. A lot more people have had the opportunity to have experience with it and be able to learn it, and because it is free, it's easy to get in contact with it without having to make any investment. So that's why they choose to run the car. And of course, if you'd like to remove, just let any of us know. Maybe we can see you on the track at a later broadcast. In our season here, we're going to be running, because of kind of some vacation schedules, things thrown off just a little bit. But we're going to be running, obviously, we're here tonight and off next week. This is traditionally a bi-weekly series. So we will be off next week per bi-weekly nature. We did run a back-to-back. Again, just to kind of facilitate a schedule situation there. And then we'll be at the Gateway Road Course at night for 50 minutes. That is a Roval configuration, so Roval configurations in the series do get a competition caution at halfway. It does keep these things a little bit tighter, so will be something interesting to see as Zach Millett will draw first blood with pit stops and sacrifice the 4th position. We'll get a fast repair in the process. These guys are given one fast repair by admin. So we'll head to Gateway at night for our first and only night race of this, actually our second night race of the season. We raced at Iowa at night, and I'm gonna lie because Charlotte Rovals at night too, so I'm gonna stop while I'm ahead. And then we will be heading to the Legacy Texas Road Course, and we'll head to Watkins Glen with the boot. We headed there with the standard cup configuration. We're going to head there with the boot in just a few weeks' time, end of August, and then we'll head to the Homestead Roval and the Charlotte Roval. So a bunch of Rovals to end the season with Watkins Glen kind of sprinkled in the mix. So it's actually good for competition, because again, with that competition caution, if you do have an issue in the opening stint, you have that recovery opportunity to get that fast repair and get right back in the thick of it and be in the scope of the leaders. So sometimes those races are a little bit more popular and can be a little bit more exciting from a driver and from a broadcast perspective. So looking forward to those. So Millett drew first blood with pit stops. We'll see if Singer here with 13 minutes to go. And here he's going to come. We're 32 laps into what's estimated to be about a 45 lap race. Sonoma does have that very interesting pit lane that is super easy to get penalized on. It's super easy to get into a crash on, because you are going around the outside of the hairpin on a very narrow pit lane, and the pit timeline is kind of at a weird angle, so it's actually kind of hard to tell when it starts. So very easy to have mistakes, but Singer is looking to have no mistakes. He had a big enough lead that didn't need to force the issue at all. What I'm looking for right now is I want to get a scope of how long he's going to be in pits for. He will have been in the pits for 15.6 seconds. And Zach Millett, as an example, was 16.7, so a slightly shorter fuel load for Singer. Now Nethery is, I don't really see any way that Nethery is going to cut into this gap, but we will see our pit lane time. Just given the data, they're up 45 seconds from pit entry to pit exit. So with that in mind, I still see Singer having quite a big lead. Even after the pit stop, he's still second and only 30 seconds behind the lead. So that just shows how big of a lead he had, that after a pit stop, he's still in second. And as Nethery is down pit lane now, we'll see how far he comes out. Singer already in at the chute right now. You're going to see that gap just coming down. Rather, Singer in the hairpin. That was Millett. Cued the wrong drive there. So here comes Singer through the hairpin. And Nethery is just in his box and nearly done with service. But Singer already is eclipsing him right now. And Nethery's just getting rolling. So let's see what the lead shakes out to. And actually, he gained about 3 seconds and just lost a lot of it right there because he screwed up in turn 2. So he came out of the pits actually a little bit better. Not quite sure how or why, because he had a longer pit lane time and a longer pit stop, but somehow eliminated 2 seconds of time. Maybe Steve Singer did not have some good outlaps. That could have been the case, but Millett did gain a couple seconds, not nearly enough to make anything substantial happen out of this deal. But he's still going to be in a podium spot. Tamira has that fresh car, and he is in 4th, about 8 seconds behind Millett. And Neil Quick running in the 5th spot. The closest relative battle on the track right now. It's not so much a battle, You can see Brian Rose got his fast repair there because the rear of his car is no longer deformative. He is roughly a second, 1.2 seconds behind. That's Neil Quick. That's a top 5. I always say that when I'm in the iRacing service, a top 5 is actually quite a big deal. And the reason I say that is because you measure top 10s as a stat, and you measure top 5 as a stat, and you measure wins. So if you can't get a win, I like to know there's another stat checked in the box. Now a lot of leagues will measure top 10s, but iRacing as a service, they only measure top 5. So I want as many top 5s as I can get. I want to pad that stat, have the highest top 5 percentage I can. So I'll battle hard for first to second. I won't battle as hard for fourth to third, unless there's a ton of points on the line. It's a very important race. I won't battle as hard for fourth to third. Somebody off going wide there. Trying to figure out who that was as Dakota Anderson goes wide. And trying to find someone going wide, then I find somebody else going wide. So it seems to be the cue of Dakota Anderson still in the grass there. But yeah, I'll battle hard for first to second. I'll battle hard. I won't battle as hard for fourth to third. But I'll battle super hard for fifth to sixth, just for the sole reason of I want that top 5 stat next to my name, and I want it to be better than it was prior. And Brad Allison, first car 1 lap down, and just going back to the opening segment of the race, he did lead the opening 4 laps, and we didn't quite see what happened to him that caused him to have his first, because we caught him about 5-10 seconds back, and then we watched some other battles, and then all of a sudden he was 1 lap down. We didn't catch what happened there to set his race astray. He is the first car a lap down. Not that it matters in terms of, we're not getting any cautions and free passes, but that is where he stands right now, and 25 seconds from the next position for him. Vincent Short had many off-track excursions to start this race down, and has so far been a little bit cleaner and is hanging on in that 8th spot. Mark Truxell at 9th, quiet run, haven't really seen or haven't had to queue him up on replay yet, so that's kind of a good reason. Jordan Berry, he has significantly altered the construction of that rear wing and also the left front, so perhaps a tire wall was met by the left front of that Radical. Dakota Anderson, we just saw him having some off-track excursions. Eddie Rose still having connectivity issues, and Britt Osborne, shotgun of the remaining drivers running, but still running and showing that sportsmanship there. So Singer in that lead right now. He has the 1 win on the season. So if indeed he is able to hang on for the next, what probably will be 8 or so, 7 to 8 laps, he will have a larger penalty at Gateway. On Rovals, he will not be able to, with his 2 wins, he will not be able to qualify, and he will get an EOL on each segment of the race. So because there is 2 segments to the race, because of the competition caution, each segment he will be put to the rear. Of course, Zach Millett in 3rd now hasn't made any headway, still 17 seconds back. Because he has 3 wins on the season, he will have an EOL and a pass-through penalty upon the second half of the race. And the reason that is in play is not to, be rude, or it's just to make sure that, there's parity in the league, especially in a series like this. This series is designed to teach guys and, take guys who aren't necessarily road racers and to give them a little bit of an itch and that experience in a car that's not necessarily easy, but easier than, say, an LMP1 or even a GTE car for that matter. Gives you a little bit of experience, so they don't want one guy just to come and stink up every single show, because it is demotivating for everybody else when there's, you have a Zach Millett just winning each race by 40 seconds, which if there was no win penalty in play, he probably would win every race by 40 seconds. So it's something to shake up the field in the last race of the season. The penalties are negated, and true battle will commence at the final race of the season at Charlotte. So Singer's penalty, as I said, will be more substantial than what he had this week, and that will make it harder for him to get those subsequent wins, which is why it was so impressive that Millett was able to get that last win at New Hampshire, because he had the 2-incident penalty, which was, as I just said, he starts last, and then he started last again after the stage, after the caution. So he started last twice, and in about a 20-minute segment, went from about 12th or so to first. So that was probably what was most impressive. But the penalty from second 2 wins to 3 wins is substantial enough that he just hasn't been able to overcome that. He may or may not, you can argue that, have had a chance here this evening, but we will never know such activity now. Of lap down cars, we may have a battle shaping up between 7th and 8th right now as we close in on 4 minutes left in tonight's race. Short and Allison, last time by Allison was substantially faster. Rather, excuse me, I got that backwards. Short was substantially faster than Allison. Closed that gap to within a second, but through the S's and off of 7 down through the S's, Allison pulls away quite substantially. So again, commentator's curse, you think something's happening, you call on it, and then it just goes away as we see some smoke there. Someone must have just locked it up. I don't see anybody spun out, though someone must have just locked it up. Singer has led 19 laps here this evening, and we're on lap number 41 right now. And due with the nature of how iRacing does call these in timed races, once you cross the stripe, it all depends how much time the timer has left on. We're going to cross the stripe now with, maybe 2 minutes 50 seconds, 2 minutes 40 seconds. So then that's more than enough time to run more than another lap. So he'll run another lap, and then that time the timer will be down to 1 minute 8, 1 minute 10, and then iRacing basically makes a decision. And they say, well, is there enough time to run a complete lap given what the average pace has been? The average pace now is about 1 minute 7. So when he crosses the stripe with less than 1 minute 7 left, that will be the white flag. If he crosses the stripe with more than that, we're probably going to get 1 or 2 more laps out of it. So we'll take a look here. It's going to be pretty close at the stripe of what the call is going to be. So we're going to have to watch it very closely, because sometimes it makes the decision very, very last second. We're kind of at 2 minutes 10 now. My guess is that we're going to get 2 more laps out of this, because I think we're going to cross the stripe with plenty of time here. So I think we're going to get 2 more laps here around Sonoma, and actually get to be a 45-lap race, I do believe. But if it changes, of course, you'll see it on the ticker. The green underneath the counter should turn white. And we'll get the final lap text there that will denote that iRacing has indeed decided it was the last lap of the race. But with 1 minute 39, 38, 37, that is enough for another lap. And then on the following lap, where time will expire, that is going to be our final circuit around this 2-mile road course. In Sonoma Cup version, again, for a league and series and drivers that are NASCAR oriented, a track that everybody knows on the back of their hand because of it being a staple on every calendar, both in the real world NASCAR and naturally in every emulated NASCAR league. So track everybody knows well. Maybe in a car you don't know well, but for Steve Singer here this evening, it fits just like a glove. And I'm sure he's put in tons of practice, and that last to first challenge, or close enough to first challenge, is going to work out successfully for him, as he's going to come through the turn 10 for the penultimate time. and hard on the binders into the hairpin, and we will most certainly get the white flag at the Sonoma Raceway. Yeah, with 26 seconds left, that's not going to be enough time for more than one lap, so this is going to be the final lap. Time will expire, and we will come to the checkers. iRacing hasn't called it yet, but I can say that it's inevitable that that's how the cookie will crumble here. So coming down and coming to the highest elevation portion of this racetrack will be Steve Singer, heading down into the chute. And Cook coming in on the latter end of the lap, and there is the official terminology from iRacing. White flag in the air. Coming down here through the S's again for the final time this evening. He's put on an absolute clinic here at Sonoma. And he's going to do just that and come through for the final time. Steve Singer comes through this hairpin at Sonoma, and he's going to come off, and he's going to get his second win of the season. The boss, the admin, Steve Singer, the number 6 machine, he's going to get his second win and win here at Sonoma. We're going to have quite some time to get to the remaining portion of our top 3. Nethery about 8 seconds back. He'll finish in second, and here comes Zach Millett with the third, and it'll probably be about a minute or so before everybody else gets their laps completed. David Tamir, we saw that hectic battle through the middle portion of the race, ultimately leading to a crash, so the pole sitter never led a lap here, and will finish in the 4th spot. Neil Quick coming down. We'll have 6 drivers on the lead lap here this evening. Quick will come down into the hairpin here. And this is for the top 5. Neil Quick will get the top 5, and then Ryan Rose soon behind will get the top 6. And that will be our lead lap finishes, but these guys are getting themselves situated and cooling down here, and while they do that, let's go ahead and give you the starting lineup. Well, the starting lineup, Corey, getting things switched up. Let's go ahead and give you the final results here today from the Sonoma Raceway. Singer getting that win here this evening with Jason Nethery with the 2nd, Zach Millett with the 3rd, David Tamira in 4th, Neil Quick with a 5th, Brian Rose in 6th, Brad Allison in 7th, Vincent Short, Jordan Berry, and Mark Truxell the top 10. Rounding out our field this evening, we do have Dakota Anderson in 11th, Eddie Rose in 12th, and then retirees from the evening, Britt Osborne, Cook, Quick, and Carson Conway. So we'll waste no time here and head right down and grab our winner this evening. Give you the results. We'll flash by in case you missed him on the top of the screen. All right, Steve, you got a copy, my friend? All right, actually, hold on. My Discord's doing its thing. Let me come right back and grab you. All right, take 2. Let me see if I can hear you this time. You got me, my friend? All right, let's go to a quick intermission here and figure out why my Discord's acting up. Let's be right back in a jiff. All right, there we go. Now we're back. So, Steve, you ended up having the essentially the last to first, or close enough as last as it could be to first here. We saw the opening segment. I mean, we saw Tamira spin out. We saw Short spin out. It basically was carnage there, especially at the top of the hill, and I'm sure that helped you gain some spots. And then once you got the lead, more or less it was smooth sailing. Talk about your victory here today at Sonoma.
Well, it's kind of, I don't know, it's sugar and spice, I guess you could call it. It's great to get the win, but of course now we got to look into, I think it's Gateway with a win penalty. So as far as working our way through the field. It wasn't too bad. We got up to Jason there, and Jason had good pace up in front of me for a while. In fact, every time I got close, it seemed like I'd start to lose the nose a little bit, and I'd lose some ground. And eventually, I don't know if he had some tire fall off or what was going on with Jason, but eventually got him there in 11. Never looked back.
Yeah, I think, well, your penalty with, well, let's just say that Millet did manage to take the 2-win penalty and still win at Loudon. I don't know if he'll be able to do that at Gateway, but obviously tonight at Sonoma, as I talked about, there was a big problem there with the top of the hill, and I know we talked about how hard you have to drive these radicals. How loose or how light did that car get at the top of the hill heading down into the chute?
I mean, it's light in a lot of the corners, especially when you've got that crest on corner exit. At least in turn 2, that's a big issue. But I kind of found it in Mid-Ohio that it was fastest if you drove it with a little bit of yaw. I mean, it's kind of scary to do because the weight to power ratio is what it is on these cars, but you kind of have to do the same thing here. You have to trust that, you know, the thing being kicked out, it's going to stick and not come around on you, and we managed to do it. Yeah, that's what the practice that I know you put in does. It gets you your second win, and it'll increase the challenge for you at Gateway in 2 weeks' time. Who do you want to give your shout-outs to, man? Definitely got to thank you guys up in the broadcast. You do an excellent job. Thank HBR TV, Track Bar Media, and of course Superior Class Auto Racing for letting us put on this road course racing side of things. It's much appreciated. All right, congrats again, my friend, and we'll catch you soon. Thanks, Corey. All right, and now we have second place here of Jason Nethery. Jason, you led some laps. You had a great run, but at the end of the day, Singer just had a little bit too much pace on you. Where do you think he was getting you overall here tonight?
You know, I was trying to figure that out myself, to be honest with you. I tried to do something different in the hairpin. I think I gained a half a second on him, then you pull away by another second. So, I don't know, man. Steve's a fast one out there, and I keep seeing Zach get a little closer too, my relative, so it was definitely nerve-wracking. Yeah, well, at least if it makes you feel any better for any consolation, at Gateway in 2 weeks' time, Singer is going to have a double penalty, essentially an EOL on the comp caution on both segments of it, and same thing with Millet. So that being said, with the two fast guys kind of having a little bit of a bigger band-aid at the Roval, maybe some extra laps and try to get that P1 in a few weeks. Absolutely. I was kind of hoping that Steve was going to pull over and just let me get that win so he didn't have to get that penalty, but it didn't work out that way.
Yeah, kind of a hard thing to do. It's almost like a competitive thing. You almost want to do it to make your life easier, but I mean, the racing spirit in us won't let us do that kind of thing. But who do you want to give a shout out to for your second here tonight, man?
You guys, of course, putting this broadcast on. So always great to watch back. So thank you, and of course, Steve putting this on. My team at the Auto Sport and our sponsors, Sim Thunder, Sim Racer Coin, and Martin Sports.
All right, well, we'll let you go, man. Congrats again, and maybe we'll talk to you at Gateway.
Thank you very much.
And finally, we have our third place finisher here tonight, Zach Millet. And obviously, man, with the win penalty, the way it is with the 3, it's very difficult. But this was probably the best chance you've had to come back and get the win. But you had that heated battle with Tamira in the middle segment, and ultimately that contact later on. Just kind of talk about that battle and coming back to the field and what happened there with him.
Yeah, it was a hell of a run there, Corey. It seemed like a really, really long race. But yeah, the battle with Tamara there, I don't know how many laps we ended up battling for, but it was forever. It must have been 7 laps maybe. But I wanted to pass him in the normal spots, and when I got loose and kind of lost the first time and then the second time, I got up to him again, and he was doing the right thing. He was driving defensive, and I would have done the same thing. It when you're a little quicker, I started having to look different places to get past him, and I think there was some pretty serious net code there, because it looked like there was plenty of room to my left.
Yeah, I was calling that exact thing out on the broadcast, man. He was like, you're racing for third. You can't expect him to pull over, but the pace you had, if you were able to get by and get some clean real estate, you probably could have put a dent in that lead, but too late to tell now. But obviously you head back into another Roval with the win penalty the way it is for you at Gateway. So how do you think that's going to fare at kind of a really big unknown for you guys at the Gateway Roval?
Yeah, no, man. I actually don't even have the track. I'm going to have to probably get that here tonight or maybe this week, definitely, and run some laps. So I don't know. Have you ever run there?
It's kind of like a go-kart track mixed in with the Gateway Oval. It's actually kind of fun. The lighting's kind of hodgepodge, but it should be a fun one for you guys, I think.
Looking forward to that then.
So that being said, man, any shout-outs you want to get for your podium tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the Scar Racing Series and Steve for putting this Radical Series together. It's always fun. It's awesome when you see this many drivers in the lobby. Everybody's fast. It's a blast, man. I'd like to thank HBR TV, and I'd like to thank you, Corey, and PTR TV for covering these races. You do an awesome job. And shoot me a follow on Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at that S4 guy.
All right, I got to get on that, man. I live on social media and I haven't done it yet. I'll take care of it after this race. But congrats again, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, guys, so that's a broadcast here on PTR TV. Steve Singer with his second victory of the season. If you haven't liked and subscribed, we would appreciate doing so. We're working on getting our sub count higher and higher, getting some more viewers and more interaction here. So if you haven't done so, it's just 2 clicks, whether it be of the mouse or on your phone. So help us out with that. Stay tuned for a broadcast on, I think we have a light week today. We're covering the final of the Red Sox Racing League on Thursday night with their GTE and TCR campaign. We'll be doing that. Otherwise, I think we have a light week, and then we'll be gearing up for some more action the subsequent week. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But it's going to be Corey signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.